Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and we are here for a movie review. We didn't really do any movie reviews all week, so now we are here. I decided to do one today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We have the 1999 American supernatural horror film, written and directed by David Koepp, and based on the 1958 novel of the same name by Richard Matheson. We have Stir of Echoes, features Kevin Bacon, features Catherine Erb. It's all sorts of pretty good characters. I'm sorry about the outside noise. I figured I would open my windows to let the nature in. It's a really nice day today. So yeah, you guys know how these reviews go. We get into the plot. This is literally a full spoiler review. We talk about everything in the film, and we talk about kind of, what people are thinking, what I think of it. So let's get into it without further ado. So this film follows main character Tom Witzke, who is a phone lineman living in a working class neighborhood in Chicago, with his pregnant wife Maggie and his son Jake, who possesses the ability to commune with the dead, although neither Tom nor Maggie yet know about Jake's special ability. They just think he's like kind of talking to himself. He's kind of like a weird kid. He doesn't really have that many friends. Kind of one of those characters. So at a party one evening, Tom challenges Maggie's sister Lisa, who is a believer in paranormal activity, to hypnotize him. And this is super unique because there's not a lot of horror movies out there that I feel like execute kind of the hypnotic horror, or like hypnotizing people and using that as like an engine for horror. I think that's super interesting. I think it's super cool. Makes it for a really interesting story. Makes for a really interesting and unique movie that really sets itself apart from a lot of like more generic horror films of its time. So, yeah, after putting him under, Lisa plants a post hypnotic suggestion, and Tom urging him to be more open minded. She's obviously like an expert. She's like going to school for this, being a hypnotist. I don't know what the hell you call those people. It's probably like a psychology major or something, and she learned how to do this, I guess. I don't know if this is actually like, I don't know how real like hypnotism is, but whatever. So Tom then begins experiencing visions of a violent scuffle involving a girl who he learns is Samantha Kozak, a 17-year-old girl who disappeared from the neighborhood 6 months earlier. This is the girl that's on the thumbnail, obviously, and this is kind of the lore of the neighborhood that this movie is kind of centered on, and it kind of pushes the movie forward. It causes this whole crazy thing to happen with Tom and his fuck hallucination. Sorry, I cannot speak today. I don't know if you guys experienced that in my Soprano review. But anyway, so while Tom and Maggie attend a high school football game, Jake is overheard by his babysitter Debbie as he speaks with Samantha. And this is Debbie is her sister, so she's obviously very concerned, or she's like weirded out. She's like, what the hell is going on here? Very curious. Debbie gets upset and snatches Jake, running off with him in the night. Like, why are you talking to my dead sister, my missing sister? Where is she? Where have you put her? She kind of looks like a maniac at first when you're watching this movie. You're like, what the hell is up with this woman? What the hell is up with this babysitter? Why did Jake even suggest her to be the babysitter? You know? So Tom senses Jake is in danger. He's kind of developing this weird like ability where he can talk to the dead, and there's this whole like secret society. There's a couple of other characters that get introduced throughout the movie. They're kind of have this like special power, and they connect to through each other like pathologically almost because of it. So he senses he's in danger, sees strange flashes of red light that lead him to the metro station where Debbie is speaking with her mother about Jake, and she's like, oh, he's talking to Samantha. What the hell is up with this kid? So when Tom and Maggie confront her, Debbie angrily questions them about her sister Samantha, explaining that she had an intellectual disability with the mental capacity of an 8-year-old and thus a child's tendency to trust strangers. So maybe that's why their little kid is able to like talk to her. I don't know why this dumbass keeps honking their horn outside. That's been going on all weekend. Like, if you've watched my streams, it's really annoying. But Tom becomes obsessed with Samantha and begins probing members of the community about her disappearance. Asking everyone, like, have you heard about this Samantha Kozak girl? Like, what has happened to her? What's the whole story? Like, he wants to know about it because he's getting, like, she's in his hallucinations, she's in his nightmares, his dreams, all this stuff. So, this attracts the attention of his landlord, Harry Damon, Tom's friend, Frank McCarthy, and their respective sons, Kurt Damon and Adam McCarthy, who all dismiss Samantha as a runaway teen. But there's a pretty crazy plot twist that happens later on in the movie about what happened to this girl, and it is connected to these four individuals. Like, these people have something to do with this. And it's kind of wild. The movie takes some crazy turns. It gets very dark towards the end. Like, you never would have expected this to go in this direction. Yeah. After another prophetic vision in which Frank tells Tom that they're going to kill you and Maggie both, Tom finds that Adam has shot himself in Frank's home and is in critical condition. This is, like, of course, a vision. This is, of course, like a... Or no. Maybe he did kill himself. Never mind. He actually killed himself. Like, this actually happened. He saw this vision. Super weird. And there's a lot of irony. There's a lot of foreshadowing going on here. There's a lot of really good plot devices that Koepp uses. Cap, I don't know how to say his last name. David Koepp uses. It's really nice. It's like really masterfully made. I really like how this film was made in that aspect, because they're going to kill you and Maggie both. It's a quote that shows up later on in the film. Yeah. So during an afternoon walk, Jake and Maggie encounter a funeral where Chicago policemen are saluting in a ceremony. A policeman named Neil recognizes Jake's unique talent and invites Tom to a private gathering of like-minded people to learn more about what is happening to his son. So, this is one of the characters that's like a member of this secret society. You know, that has these crazy visions and all this stuff. So, Maggie goes to the meeting herself, and Neil tells her the spirit that contacted Tom has asked for something and will grow upset if it does not get done. He was supposed to show up to the meeting, and now this is making the spirit very upset. Things could go very wrong for this family, all this stuff. So, as predicted, Samantha begins plaguing Tom, leading to his insomnia. He can't sleep. He's restless every single night. Samantha tells him to dig, and he starts digging everywhere in this house. He goes to the backyard. He goes to the basement. He's breaking walls. He's destroying this man's property. You know, Samantha's pretty much telling him to dig to find her, because she is in this house, and that's something we find out later on in the film. So Tom complies and digs holes in the backyard and tears up at the house in a desperate attempt to appease Samantha. He's digging endlessly, not because he's trying to find her, or, I mean, that's not what he thinks at first. He just wants to dig because she told him to do so. She's speaking to him, and he realizes that if he doesn't comply with her, she's going to get really angry. So, while Maggie and Jake attend her grandmother's wake at a relative's house, Tom inadvertently knocks down a shoddy brick wall in the basement and discovers Samantha's mummified remains, and he finally realizes why she wanted him to keep digging. To find her body, to unveil the truth, all this type of stuff. So he receives a vision showing him that before his family moved in, Adam and Kurt lured Samantha into the house to rape her, to hurt her, strangle her. They accidentally kill her. I mean, I don't even think they were supposed to kill her, but it just kind of happened that way to kind of like subdue her or something. It's fucked up. So when she resisted, they unintentionally suffocated her and hid her body, and that is where they hid her, in that shitty little brick wall, you know? So yeah, there's this whole backstory about what happened to the Samantha girl, and Tom is seeing this in his visions, which is crazy. So Tom brings Frank back to the basement and disclose to him the crime. Frank breaks down and admits that Adam and Kurt had already confided their secret to him and Harry. So these are the only four people that kind of know this event. Frank pulls out a gun and demands to be alone. As Tom leaves, he hears a single shot, kind of inferring that Frank killed himself. You know, he couldn't handle the truth of what his son did. So Harry and Kurt, they show up. They realize what's going on. They realize what Tom figured out. They corner him with the intention of killing him, but Maggie interrupts because she planned on going back from the wake, picking him up, and bringing him there. So at the end of the day, she kind of saved him, you know. As Harry takes her hostage, Frank emerges and fatally shoots Kurt and Harry. So he shows up, saves the day. Tom notices Samantha's spirit smile and disappear. Afterward, the family moves out of the house. They don't want to deal with this anymore. They're forever haunted by whatever happened. Samantha's mother and sister are able to give her a proper burial now that they've found the body. So there's a lot of like really nice closure that this movie kind of shows for that family. Jake covers his ears as his family approaches their new home, overwhelmed by all the spirits that linger in the house as they pass by. So yeah, obviously he still has a special ability. Anytime they pass a house with like some sort of history or something, he's going to hear these echoes and Stir of Echoes. That's why the movie's called Stir of Echoes, because you have this ability to kind of contact every single spirit like that are inhabitants of your area, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty solid. We're gonna get into the review, so let's go. So getting into kind of my review, getting into kind of what everyone else thinks. Sorry, holy shit, I might have to stop this video. I have like a really bad cough brewing. But it's really interesting, like the history and the context and just kind of the situation with this movie. Because the film kind of suffered by being released shortly after super high earning, super like highly appraised films. You know, you had The Sixth Sense, you had The Blair Witch Project, you had The Mummy. This movie came right after all of those, and that's obviously super unfortunate. You know, you kind of have to give it the benefit of the doubt because the movie, or at least the story for it, appeared long before The Sixth Sense and Richard Matheson's 1958 novel. So Bacon stars in one of his best performances, and that, Koepp screenplay dovetails the supernatural stuff with developments among the neighbors, which are wisely more sad and tragic than sensational. I think it's really good. It's an excellent film to me. I mean, this quietly creepy adaptation of a Richard Matheson novel was overshadowed at the American box office by The Sixth Sense. Again, everyone is saying that. There are neat camera tricks, the spook moves at a slightly different film speed to the living, and a couple of great badgering moments, but the real skill Koepp shows is that he grounds the scary stuff in a believable reality and delivers a ghost story that doesn't lose its grip after the spirits have unambiguously been made manifest. The film offers above average occult entertainment. Bacon's most believable, heart wrenching, and charismatic lead performance in many years. He did absolutely incredible in this film. A lot of people are giving him universal praise for that. Koepp molds this ghastly ghost tale into a supernatural thriller that builds suspense at a fever pitch from beginning to end. The movie seemed a little predictable at times, but also a well-crafted psychological mystery. Koepp's dialogue is genuine and funny. Koepp and director of photography Fred Murphy have created some dazzling in-camera special effects, especially the ingenious idea of filming the story's ghost at a slow speed, 6 frames per second, giving the being a strange, otherworldly way of moving. And this was something at the time I feel like a lot of directors, a lot of cinematographers were kind of doing. This was like a revolutionary thing. This was a trend at the time to do. It's really cool. If only they had sustained the suspense a little longer and resolved it in a less ripped from the headlines manner, they could have kept summer audiences scared sleepless for at least one more night. But I don't know. This movie does seem a little quick. It seems a little fast-paced at times. A good deal of effort was invested in setting up an atmosphere of mystery and dread. Stir of Echoes is a scream-out-loud movie, upsetting and deliriously effective. Some of the problems are, Koepp relies almost entirely on the isolated, shocking images, ignoring the human element at the center in favor of digitalized special effects and rapid-fire editing. It's pretty cool. It's solid. Kevin Bacon's acting is so genuine that it's creepy, and director David Koepp shows how to create true suspense. So it's really good. A lot of people like it. I would say it's a B to A movie, just however you look at it. I would definitely recommend you to watch it. This was on Cody Leach's best horror movies of all time, and I just kind of remembered it. I kind of picked this movie to watch on the fly, so yeah. We could have done more videos this weekend. Shout out to Juke, Los Pollos' brother. He dropped an album. I was gonna review that, but we could review it maybe. I don't know. We'll see how the week goes and all that stuff, how everything transgresses. But anyways, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy GZTV. We cover movies every single week. We're going through kind of some older movies, but once I get through all the classics, I think, and get caught up, which is hopefully soon, I can start, maybe even going to the theaters and watching new movies. I'd love to do that. So I'm out, guys. Peace.